Good afternoon, Steel City. Welcome to the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On today's show, the Pittsburgh Steelers are now 3-2. The formula has been broken, and this is all on Mike Tomlin in the slow start. The defense is struggling, and you get beat by your first out-of-division rival at home in prime time. I'm disgusted. Mike Tomlin, hashtag here we go. Penn State Nittany Lions, now ranked number 4 in the country, defeated UCLA in a close game that really wasn't. The 30-point favorite spread turned not even close. But Penn State is showing to be real for this year. Hashtag we are Penn State. The Pitt Panthers are now NCAA football's 22nd ranked team as they improve to 5-0 under freshman quarterback, record-setting quarterback Eli Holston, defeating ACC rival North Carolina. Cade Bell was the best signing of the offseason. All hail Pitt. West Virginia Mountaineers took their lunch pails to Oklahoma State and crushed them easily, totaling over 500 yards of offense for a big division win. What was in those lunch pails? Hashtag WV football. The Pittsburgh Penguins open the 2024-25 NHL hockey season tomorrow night versus the New York Rangers at the new Igloo, as I call it here on the Yinzer Report. I will have a preview in your Penguins 2024 roster, 2024-25 roster, as hockey is back in the bird. Let's go Pens. I will start the show right off with our tremendous sponsors, Planet Jerky, premium beef jerky, the jerky that's on another planet. Seal the Deal wax seals, wax stamps. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. And IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports and why we are doing the Yinzer Report. Steel City, Pittsburgh, please come join me on my 39th episode, 18th live of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And yes, IE Sports Radio has been taken off. And as you can see, I am on iesportsradio.com. That's the Yinzer Report. You can find me at KaliseR786 on X Twitter. And please tune in and support the radio station. There are shows all over the place for cities, sports, and IE Sports Radio is going to take over the airways. And like it said in the beginning there, we have some awesome merch. I have my shirt hanging up, and I have a shirt on today. So please support us. And IE Sports is out there for you people. And everybody tune in and listen. And you're going to have a great time as we are here today on the Yinzer Report. We're going to start out with a Pittsburgh Steelers rant about what happened Sunday night versus the Dallas Cowboys. And I just want to say before I start my rant about Mike Tomlin and how they lost the game, I consider the Cowboys our biggest rival outside the AFC North of any team. Growing up as a Steeler fan, the Cowboys were the team that we always played in the Super Bowl and every now and then played them during the season. And it was just a rivalry to be seen. As you could tell, Cowboy fans will probably tell you they hate us. And we're not too fond of them. So Sunday night they came to Pittsburgh and we had a game. So let's get right into it. And the Cowboys came into Pittsburgh. And like I just said, it was more of a rival game to me than any AFC North team. It was Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh. Dallas came in banged up as the visiting team. And that's something the Steelers probably, they couldn't ask for anything else. They had two of their best players on defense out. What else can you ask for? But wait, Mother Nature decided to poke her face into the game. and she needed her part as well and caused a 1 hour and 45-minute weather delay. Another weather delay in Pittsburgh. Remember last year on the Yinzer Report, I told you I was at the Arizona game with my son and his beautiful girlfriend, and we got stuck in a weather delay, and I couldn't believe it. So with that weather delay, I was thinking it was shaping up to be the perfect scenario for the Steelers. Kickoff at about 9:55 p.m. The fans were more juiced up with delay because of the consumption of the alcohol. I'm sure the Steelers made a mint on that game with the alcohol. Terrible towels. The terrible towels on Sunday Night Football. They were wet ones, but they were heavy with snap, twirling around with special guest Snoop Dogg on site, starting the cheer with the terrible towels on Sunday Night Football. He was leading the way with the terrible towel charge, and the Pittsburgh Steelers did not treat us to a good game, losing to Dallas 20-17. As the fourth down pass from Dak Prescott to Tony Tolbert just crushed me deep into the early hour of Monday morning. Given the Cowboys win, I suddenly snapped into frustration. And frustration was throwing water bottles, slapping red cups all over the room, and just not dealing with this loss. So like I said, I snapped into sudden frustration. And why? Mike Tomlin. WTF, what the fuck? And that might be the first time I've ever cursed on the Yinzer Report. Mike Tomlin, your formula is broken, and you, Mike Tomlin, have been exposed yet again. You have built this team to your likeness, and the way you want to win is by playing defense and running the ball. I don't want to hear or have this high level of patience or tolerance for, well, the defense played bend, don't break, or the defense allowed 20 points. The idea here is based on the investment you have made in this defense and who's coaching it. It is to be the best defense in the NFL. So when you have a team come in here and have the ball for as long as the Cowboys did with 445 yards of offense, and that in Tomlin's entire tenure is the fourth most yards they have ever given up in a home loss game. Then in the fourth quarter as well, a 95-yard drive, a 70-yard drive, and it's 15 plays, 16-play drives. This is not the team you built, Mike Tomlin. Now, getting on Mike Tomlin's offense, okay, we hired Arthur Smith. To me, I don't know, this Arthur Smith offense looks like Matt Canada of last year. And there was a stat out there that really infuriated me the next day. In the 4 years that Matt Canada was in charge, after 5 games, they had a higher point scoring total than they do this year. And it was by at least 4 points. Their point total this year after 5 games is 18.6. Come on. Oh, man, I'm starting to get frustrated again just talking about it. So, yeah, let's get into the offense now with Arthur Smith leading the offense, which we all know Mike Tomlin is running everything out there. So, Tomlin's offense, let's get into it. Mike, it sucked again. 19 yards passing in the first half. Another slow start, but then again, this is your whole strategy. Let's win games with defense and running the ball. And running the ball Sunday night versus one of the worst defenses in the NFL, especially without their 2 best defensive player, Najee Harris had 3 yards per carry, and the 2 practice squad backups because of injuries to Jaylen Warren and Cordell Patterson really didn't do any better or of the same. So this is what you, Mike Tomlin, wanted, right? This is what you signed up for. You wanted to win every game ugly, and now the Steelers, your team, has lost 2 in a row. Take a breath. My biggest takeaway is that the Steelers have a Mike Tomlin problem. And it's not getting fixed because the only person who could fix it is Mike Tomlin. We hear Mike Tomlin talk of standards being the standards. Next man up. His catchphrases. You know what? Enough already. It's all the same crap. We get it. It's life in the NFL. The announcers were making a mockery of themselves, saying all these great things about Tomlin. I guess they had to do that because it was Sunday Night Football and it was a show. But the Steelers just didn't show up, and it was Mike Tomlin's fault offensively, defensively, but they did block a field goal, which was good. But yet again, the Steelers, same formula, went out there and lost the game when we all know Tomlin should have had his guys, this team, go out there versus a team with no Parsons, no Lawrence, no Cooks, Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver, no running game, and kick their ass and beat them into the wet turf, take names, and send America's team out of the Berg with a loss. We took the loss 20-17. You cannot lose a game where you have a +3 turnover margin, a blocked field goal, and a 17-13 lead with 4 minutes left on your home field. Oh, my God. I don't want to hear you say it again in your press conference. I told you guys thank you for the effort, especially after a game that most of it sucked. Your defense was ran over by the worst rushing attack in the NFL, and an offense going with look like it's half competing because we don't want to risk 3 points at the expense of trying for 7. Open up the goddamn offense already. Justin Fields has proved he can do it. Oh, my God, I'm getting frustrated. I am frustrated. A lot of the play calling does not make sense, offensively or defensively. You have the best wide receiver in the game. Your best wide. No, we don't have the best wide receiver. Sorry about that. I read that wrong. You have your best wide receiver in the game for 34 out of 58 plays. That is George Pickens. Wait till you hear what this guy did. And wonder why he's looking like he's out to lunch just jogging around on all the offensive plays he was in there. Justin Fields is now saying he don't know what this team's identity is. Well, Justin, just watch what you say because Russell Wilson is on the comeback trail, and don't be surprised as soon as he deems that he's ready, you're going to be on the bench because I could just see it coming with Mike Tomlin. You have a rookie cornerback safety getting beat on the field in numerous coverages, all kinds of breakdowns. Your strong safety or your free safety who is making $18 million saying simplify the defense. We just got to go out there and play fast. All of this falls on Mike Tomlin and the formula you wanted. Now, guys, as you can tell, I'm frustrated. I don't think I've ever been this way doing a show. But Sunday night really took my heart out, and I couldn't deal with it the next day. I just couldn't deal with it. So, as you all know, I am a Mike Tomlin defender. I always say it on my shows. I love Mike Tomlin. But the love for Mike Tomlin after Sunday night, it dissipated some. So, like I said, as you know, I am a Mike Tomlin defender way more often than not. But as a diehard, bleed black and gold Steelers fan, I have seen enough. I am sick of watching this team lose football games to inferior opponents. I'm sick of watching them lose the same way, game after game, especially at home on national TV, because of a formula. I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan that Mike Tomlin coaches my team and have this ill feeling that rooting for a mediocre team with no identity will never make me have that championship feeling again. Heck, I just want to win a damn playoff game at this point. But I will never get out of this feeling as long as Mike Tomlin wants to coach like it's the 70s with Franco Harris and Rocky Blyer in the Steel Curtain, or the 90s with Barry Foster, Barry Bananas, and that great defense. And, of course, Jerome Bettis and the Super Bowl champion teams that Bill Cowher had and the one Mike Tomlin had after Bill Cowher left. These players are not coming back to the Southside Complex in Pittsburgh. This really sucks. This loss hurts. I hate it. And yes, I'll say it again. Mike Tomlin, this is your fault. Guys, and that was my take on the game. It was Sunday night. It ended at 1 o'clock in the morning. I must have been up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, thinking of all these thoughts, flipping out. My poor wife was trying to sleep. She couldn't sleep. My poor dog was trying to sleep, and she couldn't sleep. But, hey, that's the fan of me. I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You guys all know that. And I had a rant. I just had a rant. I'm giving the podium here to rant, and I ranted on the Steelers on the Yinzer report. So hopefully you guys didn't take it. Hopefully you did take it seriously if you're a Steelers fan like me. And for those of you who are not, hey, it's the Yinzer report on IE Sports Radio. So just a couple of other things on the game. This was the second week in a row the Steelers didn't play their best game, and it resulted in loss number 2, and that's 2 in a row. But these losses did come down to the last play of the offensive unit and the defensive unit. And like I said in the rant, this is life in the NFL. Of course, they lost this game on the last play. The defense. It was a 4th down. And it was actually a great catch by the wide receiver, but the guy was right on him. And maybe if he could have got out a little more in front, he could have deflected it. But Dak Prescott, you got to give him credit too. He made the play on 4th down, and Dallas walks out of Pittsburgh with the win. I wonder how Snoop Dogg was feeling. They beat themselves again Sunday night, the Steelers, and of course the Cowboys were out. Minka Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Brandon Cooks. They lost another linebacker right at the beginning of the game. Steelers could not take advantage of anything. The 3 turnovers, the blocked field goal. Dallas adjusted. The Steelers did not. Mike McCarthy just outcoached Mike Tomlin, if you ask me, in this game. And like I said, games where you get 3 turnovers, 2 INTs, a fumble recovery, a blocked field goal, and 3 of those inside its own 20-yard line resulted in no points for the opponent. You should have won the game. Cowboys were 9 of 13 on 3rd down. And the last 2 weeks, the Steelers defense just can't get off the field. Plenty of missed opportunities, again, in the heartbreaking defeat. And they deserve to lose. And Mike Tomlin, again, the formula isn't adding up anymore. And again, the defense was a stop away from getting the win. But, hey, in my eyes, we should be 5-0. We should be 5-0. And we're 3-2, and it's just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking because that, like we've been talking here on the Yinzer report, that schedule coming up later on in the year is going to be the telltale time of the season. So, like I put down here, as you could see in my box, Mike Tomlin, this one on you. The formula is fake steel, more like plastic. And that's how I felt. You got 2 games in a row now. The opposing defensive players are talking about your offense. One of the Colts guy called Najee Harris soft last week. This week, George Pickens, as you could see, there was a thing on X Twitter. The Cowboy was walking into the locker room and said the Steelers need a wide receiver, not George Pickens. And I mean, it's just the other teams are they're just talking about how Tomlin's team is, and it's really sickening. It's totally sickening. You got George Pickens, according to Tomlin in his press conference today. He was saying there's no real beef with Pickens. He was in the game for only 34 out of 58 plays because they got him on like they have him like on a plays count. What is a play count? It's your best wide receiver. You drafted a wide receiver, Roman Wilson, who's been ready now for 3 weeks. And you don't even play the guy, and you don't give us an update on him, and he never plays. George Pickens is your best wide receiver. You have 1 touchdown from a wide receiver this year. And you know who the wide receiver is? Anybody out there know? Calvin Austin. It's not even George Pickens. It's just sickening what is going on with the offense. And And I will say this has nothing to do with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is doing what he has to do. He's playing well. He's not turning the ball over. All right, he's missing plays here and there, but you got to expect that. But let the guy throw the ball. Let him make some turnovers. You got to create. You can't just sit there and run the ball. 2 plays. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows what you're going to do. Najee Harris can't hit a hole. Unless the hole is as big as my fat body, then he'll run. He'll run for 20 yards. It's just I don't understand the situation out there. And you got George Pickens now, your best wide receiver. Did you guys see what he had that Band-Aid over his nose and it said effing always open? Mike Tomlin's claiming in his press conference today he didn't even know about it. He didn't see it. He doesn't discuss stuff with the media. Mike, you got a problem on your hands. These players, they look up to you. You're like their father figure. You gotta take the bull by the horns, Mike. You gotta do better. You gotta do better, Mike. You gotta do better. You gotta do better. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say on the Steelers because now I'm all pumped up again. Let's go to the chat. Marcus, Los Great. Salute. Thanks for joining in. Mary Shea. Hey, Mary, how you doing? How you feeling? Have a great show, Ralph. I knew you were disappointed. Had a feeling you were going to rant. Yes, it's heartbreaking. Yeah, Mary, you know me like a book. Danny, man, laughing my ass off. It's funny now. It wasn't funny Sunday night, Danny. And there he is, Drewski, the host of the Dallas Show and the Cowboy fans. Congratulations, Drewski. You guys came in there. You outcoached us. And yes, it was a great game Sunday night for you, but not for me. And I'm glad you guys won. If there is anybody out there who is a Dallas fan and that I would want to see them beat the Steelers, it's my boy Drewski. Because Drewski is the man. He's got a great show. He does all Texas sports, and he's a big Cowboy fan, and he tells it like it is. So congrats to you, Drewski. Yes, sir. All right, so let's take a break. I'm going to come back, and we're going to do some college football. Hey, all 3 teams won again. I think that's the third or fourth time this year. But we'll talk about it when we get back. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always willing to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
All right, welcome back. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. All right, my heart rate calmed down a little bit there, and let's get into some college football, which was a very good weekend. We had the Pitt Panthers playing, we had the Penn State Nittany Lions playing, and we had West Virginia playing. So we'll start off with the Pitt Panthers. They were at North Carolina. They are now the 22nd ranked team in NCAA football. They are 5-0, and they're 1-0 in the conference players. They beat the Tar Heels. Eli Holstein powered the Pitt Panthers past the struggling North Carolina Tar Heels, 34-24. First 5-0 start since 1991, and the first win ever in North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Now, you remember the basketball team did that last year at Duke. They won for the first time in Chapel Hill too. They're averaging a total of 45 points per game, and Cade Bell's enormous hire for Pitt, ranked fifth nationally in scoring at 48.5 points per game. The offense has taken off. Pitt's deserve to be ranked, and they are. This was a game within a game. Pitt moving fast, along with no huddle, fast strikes on defense. Fast strikes on the defense, passing more, rushing, scoring drives, quick 5, 6, 7 play drives to score. Came within game with North Carolina as they were consuming drives. Their game in the game was consuming drives and doing precise passing plays, large holes of rushing. Both teams' games plans were executed. The game-changing plays was 7:01 in the first quarter. Kay Cost of the NC Carolina Tar Heels accepted a pass and took it 85 yards for a touchdown of Holstein and put North Carolina up 7-3. After a 3-and-out by Pitt, North Carolina went on a 19-play drive, took up 9 minutes into 2 quarters of play, and was stopped on a 4th and 3 to end the drive with no points. Pitt, from its own 9-yard line, went on a 5-play, 91-yard drive in 1 minute and 33 seconds. Desmond Reed had 8 and 4-yard carries rushing, and then a 72-yard pass from Holstein, and then a TD pass to Consersley for 7 yards, 10-7 Pitt. It was a game-changing play. Holstein, again, was no way looking like a rookie freshman. He was 25 of 42 for 354 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception, and his 4th game with throwing 3 TDs, leading the team in rushing with 76 yards and 1 TD. Desmond Reed had 11 catches for 155 yards. Now, mind you, he's a running back. And also they got Rodney Hamden Jr. back from the list at the beginning of the season. He was deemed he couldn't play. He's back now. But he didn't play too much. Desmond Reed was still the main guy there. North Carolina's running back, Omari Hampton, starred for them. He had 106 yards rushing and a TD. There was a 4th quarter turning point as well. Pitt was leading 31-24 after Holstein 3-yard TD run. Pitt stopped North Carolina again on a 4th and 1 in the red zone and responded with a game-in-a-game drive like North Carolina, 18-play, 73-yard drive that wasted over 7 minutes off the clock, and a 37-yard field goal by Mr. Automatic kicker Ben Souls gave Pitt a 10-point advantage with 2:01 to play, and it was 34-24, and Pitt didn't look back after that. Some post-game comments from Pat Norduzzi's. We got a hell of a football team. Carolina offensively, they have a good football team. They moved it, but our guys bowed up on 4th downs. just a heck of a team win. Great effort by our guys. Pitt notes after the Holstein INT for the touchdown, the North Carolina defense failed to turn over the Panthers again. Carolina continued to give up crunch plays, allowing Holstein to connect with wide receivers in an aerial gains of 43, 72, 30, and 46 yards. He's been doing some historic things. The redshirt freshman Holston, who was transferred to Pitt in the offseason from Alabama, is the first Pitt Panthers quarterback since Hall of Famer Dan Marino in 1979 to win each of his first 5 starts. His passing yardage total against UNC also broke a single-game record by Pitt freshman set by Alex Van Pelt. He also, in this game, he also had a record for the most passing yards ever by a Pitt freshman. It was 381 yards. So the total yards for Pitt in this game were 384 pass, 136 rush, 520 total yards. Carolina, 269 pass, 147 rush, 416 total yards. So Pitt is now ranked number 22 in the country, and their next game is versus California. So there's that West Coast team coming back to the East again, like we're going to talk about in the next game. All right, so all hail Pitt. Keep it up. All right, now let's get into Penn State. Penn State wound up playing UCLA. So like I said, UCLA came to the East Coast, and they were playing the Penn State Nittany Lions, who were ranked number 7 at the time. Penn State is now ranked number 4. So they are 5-0 on the season. And the question going into this game, would it be a trap game for Penn State? With USC looming this week coming up, and Penn State a 30-point favorite. Wow. UCLA was starting a redshirt sophomore at quarterback named Justin Martin and a first-time center, and I guess it didn't have a good feel for them, so for UCLA to have a chance versus Penn State defense. The crowd and the good old West Coast, East Coast travel element was all there on display. But the quarterback, Justin Martin, early on was showing confidence and talent using a short passing game. Now, don't forget UCLA's offensive coordinator is Eric Bieniemy. Penn State using a short passing game, but not scoring any points. A UCLA bugaboo. There was 7 quarters before a late TD in the fourth quarter where they haven't scored an offensive touchdown. Penn State, again, showing its identity all year, starting slow. The first 2 yards just totaled 21 yards. The defense turned the game around of course, like always. There was a play at 8:31. There was a targeting penalty called on Penn State's cornerback Wheatley, number 6. It was ruled a non-targeting incomplete pass, which was on an 11-play drive for UCLA. So they got closer, but the great drive came to an end on a 4th and 1, and that man who did not get thrown out of the game for targeting was the guy who made the stop. Wheatley stopped the run on 4th and 1, and the place was going nuts. Right after that, Penn State went on a 16-play, 82-yard drive, 8 minutes, 26 seconds drive, starting from their own 25, 12 rushing plays, 4 passes, 1 penalty. This was the drive where the Penn State claimed the game. The O-line was moving conceivably with motion, and I don't know, you got to go see it. There was a pancake block on this drive by number 71. His name is Oliva Vega Ione, number 71 on Penn State. Just Google Penn State block. This guy destroyed, I think it was number 95 or number 98 on UCLA. I don't remember his name. He threw a block. He was in motion, throws a tremendous block for a 7-yard run by Katron Allen for a first down, and then using the brotherly shove push, that's the Philadelphia, push, for a TD. Drew Alla took the lead. Drew Alla scored the touchdown. It was 7-0 in the second quarter. Penn State claims the game right there. And again, the real identity shows up. The defense took over in the second half. They did give up that late touchdown later on. Drew Alla had 237 yards passing, 1 TD rush for rushing. They did not have Nick Singleton. He did not play. He did not come out. He dressed but he did not come out on the field to play. Tyler Warren and Katron Allen TDs Raya Barker 2 field goals. It was funny. When they kicked the field goals, you could see Coach James Franklin going nuts on the sideline, giving the field goals good. He's clapping his hands. He's punching his fists around because Penn State's bugaboo is their kicker this year. There's been a lot of problems with the kicker. The defense turned in another dominant second half performance to cap the 4-game home winning streak. And that place was nuts. There was over 109,000 people in that place. And your post-game comments here from Penn State head coach James Franklin, I think our third quarter defense all year has been ridiculous. Of course, in a good way. You know what he means by that. Quarterback Drew Aller, when we get into this heavy personnel, it's hard to match up with us. We are able to spread the formation wide into an open set. It causes a great deal of stress. Well, if you saw the block that this guy put on number 95, he was stressed, believe me. And our tight end, our favorite tight end at Penn State, Tyler Warren, had a TD catch to give him 17 career total TDs, the most all-time for a tight end for Penn State. And like I said, next week, Penn State is at number 11, USC. That is going to be a Donnybrook. All right, so that's it for Penn State. They are now ranked 4th. And don't forget, we got one more team playing in the Pittsburgh area on college football, and that's the West Virginia Mountaineers. And this game was in Boone Pickens Stadium, Stillwater, Oklahoma. The West Virginia Mountaineers got their 3rd win of the season. They are 3-2, and they are 2-0 in the Big 12. So they beat the Oklahoma State Cowboys on their home field, 38-14. Jaheim White, the West Virginia running back, ran for 158 yards and a TD. West Virginia put past Oklahoma State 38-14. Garrett Green passed for 159 yards and ran for 86. C.J. Jonathan, 77 yards and 2 TDs. West Virginia gained 389 of its 528 yards on the ground. 389 yards on the ground. Like I said at the beginning, what was in those lunch pails? The West Virginia defense allowed only 227 yards total, just 36 rushing. Picked off Oklahoma State quarterback Alan Bowman twice, causing him to be benched in the 3rd quarter. Helping West Virginia, Oklahoma Doak Award winner last year, Ollie Gordon left the game in the 3rd quarter with a leg injury. Did not return. He only had 13 rushes for 50 yards at the time he left. So that was deep into the 3rd quarter. They only gave up 50 yards rushing to the Doak Award winner last year. West Virginia took control early despite Garrett Green, the quarterback West Virginia, temporarily left the game after a 39-yard run. Backup Nico Markershell, I like that name, stepped in and threw a 9-yard TD to Traylon Ray. 10-0 West Virginia, and no looking back after that. The ground West Virginia went up 31-7 at the half on a TD run by Donaldson with 28 seconds left. This is the West Virginia offense we have waited for. West Virginia's offense held the ball for nearly 44 minutes, and the Mountaineers ran 81 plays to Oklahoma State 45. That's insane. White TD to Green. White had 1 TD. Garrett Green had 1 TD. C.J. Johnson 2 TDs, and Traylon Ray, as we mentioned, had the TD. Like I said, West Virginia 558 total yards, 169 pass, 389 rush. Oklahoma State 227 total yards, passing 191, rushing only 36 yards. Wow, that was a statement game right there by West Virginia. Their next game is next week at home, number 16, Iowa State. So we got some great games coming up for the Pittsburgh there. The post-game comments on this one, West Virginia coach Neil Brown called this win special, says, I thought it was dominant. I thought our preparation staff-wise, player-wise, mentally, physically, emotionally, I thought our guys were ready to go. We enjoyed getting this win on the road versus a program with a good reputation. And This is some game notes, some takeaways. West Virginia, the Mountaineers look motivated and ready from the outset. They overpower Oklahoma State the old-fashioned way. They ran 65 times through 16 passes. Oklahoma State, the Cowboys just didn't get beat. They looked flat in the game, and they needed to keep their already faint hopes of reaching the Big 12 title game alive. Now the Cowboys could struggle to keep their third straight consecutive winning streak date back to 2006 alive. And that's it for the college football in Pittsburgh area. So Pitt, Penn State, and West Virginia, they all win. And next week, we got some tough games coming up. All right, let's check the chat before we get to the last part of the show. And it's going to be some Pittsburgh Penguins hockey. Hockey is right around the corner. We have Drewski, who is back in the chat, and I'm trying to go back on the comments. Great game Sunday night. Thanks for the love, my guy. You're the best, Drewski. I love you. Still plenty of good things going on in the Yinzer town, though. Yeah, it's Mike Tomlin. Like I said, I ranted on this game, but hey, Mike Tomlin, he'll turn it around. He'll turn it around. I hope. November 2nd, Pitt versus SMU should be a good one. Yes, they do. They do have SMU coming up, and it's going to be a good one, as you say. Kind of seemed like Penn State underestimated UCLA in the beginning of that game. Exactly, like I mentioned, they started out slow, like they always do, and I tell you, it was right after that drive where that guy pancaked the wide receiver on a motion play, a lineman in motion like that. If you could Google the play, I'm telling you, just watch it. Hey, Patty Bax, hope you're having a great show, Ralph. Thank you, Patty. Hope all is well with you as well. And West Virginia crushed Oklahoma State. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. All right, so like I said, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back quick. We're going to do some Penguins hockey, and we'll do a little preview of the Penguins like I'd like to do. And I'll give you their roster coming up. So this is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio. We will be back right after this. And this is the Yinzer Report on IE.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's your man Bishop, the voice of This is KC Sports, the show where we go over the Chiefs, the Royals, KC Current, Sporting KC, MU, and oh yeah, if we got time, we'll even throw in some of that KU stuff for my people on the 913 South. Come and hang out with us every Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
And that's Adam and Zachary. They do the hockey show here, which I believe is tonight, later on. Check that out. And that's a great segue into our next segment. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. and we're going to get into some Penguins hockey. So, as you guys know, since I took over the show, I like to do a little preview of each team, and I didn't get to do it for hockey last year because I came in at the beginning of the year, and hockey was in full swing. So what I do is I give a preview of the team. So, of course, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins. They play in the Eastern Conference, the Metropolitan Division. They were founded in 1967, and their history is from 1967 to the present. Their home arena is the PPG Paints Arena. Try saying that fast 5 times. But as I call it, the new Igloo. Remember they used to play in the old place, the Civic Center, used to be called the Igloo. I call the PPG Paints Arena the new Igloo. Of course, their team colors are black, Pittsburgh gold, and white. I like that, Pittsburgh gold. Because a lot of people say it's gold, but it's Pittsburgh gold. And a lot of people say it's yellow. So that's the uniforms they wear. The owners, of course, are Fenway Sports Group. Mario Lemieux is a minority owner, and general manager is Kyle Dubas. Head coach Mike Sutherland. Your captain, of course, is the captain Sidney Crosby. Their minor league affiliate is the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and they have 5 Stanley Cups: 1990 to 1991, 1991 to 1992. That's back to back. 2008, 2009, 2015, 2016, and 2016 to 2017. So that's 5 Stanley Cups. They have 6 conference championships, 1 President's Trophy, and they are division champions 9 times. I'm not going to list them all because there's a lot there. And then just here is that would be the founded, here's a little notes on them. Founded during the 1967 expansion, the Penguins have qualified for 6 Stanley Cups, winning Stanley Cup 5 times in 1991, 1992, 2009, 2006, and 2017, along with the Edmonton Oilers. The Penguins are tied for the most Stanley Cup championships among the non-original 6 teams and 6th overall. With their Stanley Cup wins in 16 and 17, the Penguins became the first back-to-back champions in the salary cap era. That's insane. Several of the team's former members have been inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, including co-owner Mario Lemieux, who purchased the Penguins in 1999 and bought the club out of bankruptcy. Remember, I did a show on that way back when. Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Sidney Crosby, and Evgeny Malkin have won the Hart Memorial trophies while playing for the franchise. And all those guys, at the end of the day, are going to be into the Hall of Fame. So that was my little preview of the season coming up. They do start tomorrow night versus the Rangers. The NHL, I think, kicks in tonight. But there's baseball games going on now. And I was just updated. I think the Mets are winning 1-0. My son is a big Met fan, and he's been texting me the scores. The last I saw was 1-0. So let's go Mets. I'm rooting for the Mets as well. Being that you guys know I am from New York now. Here's the roster. We'll get into the roster real quick because I see the show is coming to the end. Hold on. I got a couple of Drewski again, confidence meter on the Penguins this season. And always Arizona Sports. Hey, what's going on, Arizona Sports? Caught your show last week. I enjoyed it very much. What's up, Ralph? Hope you're having a great show. Yes. And my nephew, Danny Mann, another Met fan. Still 1-0 LFGN. All right, Danny, thanks for the update. All right, so let's get into this quick. Your forwards for the 2024 Pittsburgh Penguins. You have Noel Arcasi. I'm not going to be able to pronounce some of these names, guys. Anthony Beauvillier, Michael Bunting, Sidney Crosby, Lars Eller, Cody Glass, Kevin Hayes, Evgeny Malkin, Rutger McGrody, Drew O'Connor, Jesse Puljujarvi, Valerie Pustisen, and Ricard Raquel. So there are some of those new guys on there from last year, but, you always got the captain. The defensemen are Ryan Graves, Mac Reselick, Eric Carlson, Chris Letang, Marcus Pedersen, Ryan Shea, and a newcomer, Jack St. Ivani. Your goaltenders are Joel Blomqvist and Tristan Jarry. Now, Joel Blomqvist is the goalie I was telling you guys about in a show when the season ended, that he had a good chance to come up and take the helm because he was really good in the minors. They have 5 on the injured list. It's Blake Lizette, Matt Nieto, Vasily Ponomarov, Brian Rust, and our goalie from last year, Alex Nedeljkovic. All right, so we got to get Brian Rust back. He's a big part of this team. But there are a couple of new players on the team. They seem like they got a little younger, but there's still that core out there for the Penguins to play this year. And just to answer Drewski's confidence meter on the Penguins this year, I think they're going to be the same they were last year. They're going to be in it till the end, and they're going to vie for that last couple of playoff spots. Last year they didn't make it, and hopefully this year they do. And they'll be around that range where they can get into one of the last 2 spots in the Eastern Conference. The division is real tough this year. The Metropolitan Division is real tough this year with the Rangers. The Devils are already 2-0. You have the Islanders who made some couple of moves that they look really good in the preseason. And you have the Penguins, of course. You still have the Capitals looming, and you have the Panthers. The Hurricanes. So we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. And that's the show for today, guys. So thanks for joining, and I'll hit the music, and we'll say goodnight.